start the presentations. These are weekly presentations. Every Sunday, we have a round of presentations that we are starting now. Okay. Welcome once again to all of you in this special session of presentations. Now, Preeti, Mukul, and Ekam are here, and we are going to start with presentations. And the first chance shall be given to Ekam. Welcome, Ekam. Are you there? Shall we start?
Yes,
So start. Switch on your camera and start with your presentation. Okay? Start.
a very warm good afternoon to everyone present here. Today, I, Ekam Dhillo, is here in front of you to retaliate about a really controversial wrangle, that is altercation of Solomon Islands and China. Solomon Islands is just like any other country that China would be targeting to capture. As in daily newspapers, we are seeing that this country is really happy by dealing with China, and even China is making a lot of contributions of money to this country. But this happiness will not last longer, and we all are aware about this because we know that what happened with Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Angola, South Sudan, and 15 other East African countries. And we are like aware about this debt trap policy of China. And the whole world know that what's next is going to happen, and it's very clear from the fact that Solomon Islands is an extremely underdeveloped country with a GDP of $3,200. Like, what on earth seriously is $3,200? And which is really miserable for a country with a population of 7 lakh people. Inherently, after doing a lot of exploration on this country, I would like to title this country as Beauty Without Brains. I repeat, Beauty Without Brains, because the reason I came up with this title is that I was really shocked to read this, that this country is rich with timber, various minerals and resources such as copper, zinc, nickel, aluminium, and gold. Like, you all must be thinking that a country can get rich in a split second with such resources. But the most shocking fact comes here. Despite of all these resources, the majority of the population of this country is indulged in only two occupations. The one is subsistence agriculture, and the second is the uh, selling of tuna fish, which is really unbelievable, I know, as these economic facts, make this country look more pathetic. And but I as I mentioned, no brains means there's no education in this country, and even people don't even have that much sense that how can they extract resources for themselves only. So we can't expect this so much. But hence these conditions are, like I'm saying this indirectly, these conditions are those conditions which, if a country is fulfilling, then China is ready to conquer it. So, hereby coming to the actual present day news, I'm quoting an editorial from The Hindu, which came up day before yesterday, titled as Red Star over Solomon Islands. So, Red Star symbolizes total communist ideology. And as a recent leaked document has revealed that Solomon Island, which is located in South Pacific region, has reached a deal with China, which outlines an unprecedented level of security cooperation. And this is first deal of its kind for Beijing in this region. And the capital of Solomon Islands, Honiara, has given its confirmation for this agreement. And this confirmation like has terrified and raised alarms in two countries, which is USA and Australia, because obviously these two countries have extensive stakes in South Pacific region. And again the question comes up, why is China interested in this nation so much? So the first reason, the resources one, which I just mentioned. And the second most predominant reason is that the Pacific Islands are among the few regions in the world where China has its competition with Taiwan for diplomatic recognition. Ultimately, to conclude, I would like to say that through this my entire research on this topic, I have seen that the geopolitics of the Asian region is undergoing an unprecedented flux in tandem with larger shifts in Indo-Pacific region, and which is suggesting that there is an intensification of regional great power rivalry and domestic volatility and in upcoming years. Thank you and have a nice day.
Very nice. Ekam, how will it affect India?
So as
Should we be concerned?
the fact about India I didn't got, but this Australia and USA are majorly affected by it. I have seen, because they have this stakes in the South Pacific
Look,
region.
Solomon Islands is situated in South Pacific.
Yes, sir.
And if China gets hold of the South Pacific, then our trade with Australia, trade
Yes,
with
sir.
Japan, trade with Cambodia, all
Yes,
these,
sir.
all this region, when our ships will be going there, there will be a big threat. And of
Yes,
course,
sir.
it will be non-advantageous economically also. Okay.
Yes, sir. So, but like Solomon Islands is just a really smaller part of this. We have Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea. These are also all the islands which China has to capture, and then only there's a lot to do for China right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Very good, Ekam. So next topic shall be from who would like to give the presentation next? If we move in the alphabetical order, then of course it should be Mukul. Mukul, are you there? Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Switch on your camera. Shall we start?
Good afternoon. My name is Mukul, and today I am going to speak on topic Hindi as national language. Hindu civilization is one of the oldest civilization of the world. Sanskrit is the origin of spoken language of the world. Sanskrit over a period of time changed its dialect from one country to other country depending upon its geographical changes. Uh, Depending upon its geographical changes and tribes over there. In India, Mahabharat, Sanskrit also evolved in its new forms in different states of the country. Arabian, Urdu, Hindi, Odia, Bangla, etc. are the languages spoken in India. Over a period of time, all of these languages have synthesized and uh, have commonly shared dialects and variation of speech grouped under Hindi. In year 1950, India adopted Hindi as national language under Article 343. Uh, Over 422 million people speak Hindi, which
Does
includes,
Indian Constitution Indian Constitution declare that Hindi is national language of the country?
sir, according to Article 343, Hindi is national language, but it is not an official language.
Are you sure?
So, according to,
You have said 343 says it's national language, but not official language.
yes, sir.
No, I don't feel so. I think you should brush up your topic. You should brush up your knowledge in this on this topic. What does Article 343 of Constitution exactly say? Anybody else from the group who can tell?
So I think it says that Hindi is an official language, but not a national language.
Yes. Yeah, Mukul, the opposite of what you say is correct.
Okay, sir.
Hindi is official language, but not national language. Okay? It is a Supreme Court judgment which says that Hindi is the national language. Which is that
Okay, sir.
judgment you know?
The official language of the Union shall be Hindi in the Devanagari script.
Okay.
The form of numerals to be used for the official purpose of the Union and shall be the international form of Indian numerals. Hindi was the language that was adopted by Indian leaders as the symbol of national identity during the freedom struggle. Hindi has been used as the national literary language since the 12th
Yeah.
century. Residents of 12 out of 35 states and union territories reported Hindi as their first choice of language communication, while 43% Indians speak Hindi, out of which 26% specifically speak Hindi as their tongue language. Uh, India is a democratic country with many regional languages. The kind of democracy reflected problem to adopt Hindi as national language is all over India. Many of the states prefer their regional languages as their state language, and our regional languages and were dogmatic to adopt Hindi over their regional language. It created problems throughout the nation, and leader in the past faced political crisis over the issue. Few of the political parties like RSS took it as challenge to implement Hindi throughout the nation as a mean of communication. Although Hindi is a constitutionally declared official language, but regional language and English are most commonly used in connecting media. The problem is still existing and remains to be solved. Thank you.
Very good, Mukul. Keep it up. After M, Gitanjali, are you ready with the topic?
Yes, sir.
Switch on your camera. So here we go. Start.
Child marriage is one of the major and
Wait, Gitanjali.
Yes.
First of all, you should address. A very good afternoon to all of you. Today my topic is dash dash dash. Okay, like this you should start. Okay. Now give it a formal starting. Start.
A very good afternoon to all of you. I am Gitanjali Thakur, and today I'm going to speak on the topic child marriage. Child marriage is one of the major and crucial social issue, especially in India, where it is practiced since many centuries among many tribes and religions as a culture or as a custom, especially in tribal areas, because if you see Jharkhand, which has the highest number of child marriages and also has the highest tribal population. So according to the United International Location Report, which was published in 2017, it said that India had the second highest rates of child marriages in the world. And sometimes it is first, but though it is prohibited in India through various legal guidelines and enactments. So what are these legal guidelines and enactments? The first one is the Child Restraint Act of 1929, which is the first legal restriction on child marriage. So it was enacted on 1st of April 1930, and which extended across the whole nation except for Jammu Kashmir and Hyderabad, which were Muslim majority areas. And this was also the first social reform issue which was taken up by the organized women in India before the independence in 1930. And this act was also called the Sardar Act, which comes after the name of Harbilas Sardar, who was the person who introduced this act in the parliament. So what does this act say? The Child Marriage Restraint Act of 1929 simply defines the age of marriage to be 18 for males and 14 for females, which substantially got amended after independence in 1947. The second we come to is the Prohibition of Children Marriage Act in 2006, the PCMA Act, which was enacted in 2006. So this has three provisions. Okay, under this, it has three provisions. The first one is that the boys and the girls who have been forced into child marriages, they have an option of nullifying or voiding their marriages for up to 2 years of childhood. And they can nullify or void them. For girls, it is 20 years, and for boys, it is 23. Second thing is that children who are born from child marriages, they are considered legitimate, meaning they are accepted by the law of our nation. Third thing, any male who is over 18 years of age, if he enters into a marriage with a minor, he can be punished for up to 2 years of imprisonment. So this PCMA Act, it was recently in the winter session of Parliament in 2021. It got amended also. The age of females was increased from 18 to 21. So now we come to the Poxo Act, which is the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, which was legislated in 2012. So it inscribes the punishment for the children from sexual offences who are under the age of 18 years of age. So how is Poxo Act and the child marriage related? There are two things. First is section 375 of the IPC, which is the Indian Penal Code. It says that the husband, any male, who is having sexual intercourse with a woman who is minor, it is not considered a rape. But the section 5 of the Poxo Act, the same thing, it says that it is considered as a sexual assault. So this thing is there. So due to this anomaly, or this oddity between the IPC and the Poxo Act, the section 3 of the DV Act, which is the Domestic Violence Act, it says that this could be struck down if the husband harms or injures the wife, then he is liable to pay the compensation to her wife. So even the Supreme Court also ruled that the man who is there, if he is having sexual intercourse with his wife who is minor, it is not considered as a rape, but it could be struck down if it violates the fundamental right of the girl child. This judgment, it is directly in accordance with the need of hour, and it indeed it fills the gap between this Poxo and the IPC. But still the legislation has a far way to go, as even if it is practiced as a custom in tribal areas, still there are a lot of consequences of child marriages and the consequences that a girl child faces. There are high possibilities of early maternal death. The girl child, she faces reproductive issues, and not only this, but the infants who are born from child marriages, they are very likely to die in their first years. This is all from the statistics. And not only this, but they suffer from malnutrition. So despite this, the legislation, the implementation has a long way to go. Thank you so much.
Good. Very good. Your insight is worth appreciation. Clapping for you.
Thank you, sir.
You have done a good research. Keep it up. Very good. Shabash bache. And everybody should pay attention to what a cadet speaks, because Gitanjali's presentation had a very good content. Excellent. Okay. Keep it up. Very good. So next, moving as per the alphabetical order, it should be PRA, Pranjal. Okay, Pranjal, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
So Pranjal, it's your turn now, and switch on your camera and start with the presentation.
Good afternoon to one and all. My name is Pranjal Vasi, and today I'll be speaking on the topic Hindi as a national language of India. Hindi is the mother tongue of some 43% of the population, and the percentage has been increasing every day. Hindi is spoken in much part of the northern India, but not in the rest of the part. When Britishers declared Hindi as the soul of India, or Hindi is our mother, English is a stranger, they missed 2 points. First, that no Tamil or Bengali will accept that Hindi is the language of our soul. Secondly, injecting the anti-English xenophobia into the argument is utterly irrelevant to the issue at stake. At an ideological level, in states such as Tamil Nadu, the question of being required to learn a northern language such as Hindi has always been contentious. Whereas in the northern states, there's simply no demand for learning a southern language, and so no northern state has seriously implemented the 3-language formula. So, the three language formula is a language learning policy which was implemented in 1968 by the Ministry of Education of the Government of India in consultation with all the states. Under the national education policy, the state should learn a modern Indian language. The students, the three language formula, which means that the students studying in a Hindi speaking state should learn a modern Indian language apart from Hindi and English. Whereas the students studying in a non-Hindi speaking states, they should learn Hindi and English along with one regional language. The Union Home Minister of India, Amit Shah, said that Hindi should be accepted as an alternative to English and not as an alternative to all other local languages. He also informed the members that now 70% of the agenda of the cabinet is being prepared in Hindi language. In Constitution also, under the Article 343, the official language of Union shall be Hindi in the Devanagari script, but it is not a national language. The government is also a part in promoting Hindi. They have made various efforts such as imposing Hindi names on the central government programs such as Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana instead of translations or neutral English labels. A parliamentary committee's proposal to make use of Hindi mandatory for the MPs and the other union ministers, making Hindi a compulsory subject for the Central Board of Education schools across the country. They have also used the relettering of the milestones on the national highways in Hindi instead of English, and the use of Hindi in the airport announcements as well. The de facto solution to this question is that we should use Hindi everywhere. We should use Hindi to where it is understood, but use English everywhere, since it places all the Indians from all the parts of the countries at an equal disadvantage. Hindi is found to be easier to learn, write, communicate, and moreover, it is also a sophisticated language. If we can adopt a foreign language, that is English, then why do we hesitate to learn another language of our motherland? India is multicultural and a diverse nation. We all are aware of it. So having Hindi as a national language would give us a sense of pride. It would also help to keep our Bharat united for the years to come and stop the unstoppable division of this country, again due to so many languages and cultural divisions. Thank you.
Simply great. A clapping for Pranjal. Pranjal has improved a lot. Very good. The hand expressions, the confidence, it's really appreciable. Very good, Pranjal. If we compare your presentation with the last week's presentation, you have really worked hard and it's good. Worth appreciation. Everybody should learn from Pranjal. Very good. I'm so happy today. Okay. Although Bhumika has joined now. Bhumika, are you ready with your topic?
Yes, sir.
Bhumika, I'll give you the turn after some time. Let others who are waiting. Preeti, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Switch on your camera.
So good afternoon, one and all present here. I'm Preeti and my topic is, should Hindi be the national language of India or not? So in my opinion, Hindi should not be the national language of India. As national language is the language that represents the culture, history, connecting factors, etc. of a country. So my question is, does Hindi represent the above things? And the answer is no. Each region of the India has its own culture, own history, and Hindi cannot replace them. There are so many cultural differences in India. So let's see a small example. For an average Telugu person, only a Telugu movie can give him a native feeling. Tamil and Kannada dubbed movies are also okay. To a little extent, Malayalam too. But we slowly started getting no native feelings if we watch any other dubbed movies, especially from northern parts. So similarly, a Hindi person won't have a native feeling when watching a Telugu movie or a Marathi movie. When simple movies are not giving a native feeling to us, how can we expect everyone to accept a single language by deleting their own one? So I can never say my Hindi language. I can only say India's Hindi language. A Telugu person's history, culture, life connections, everything is living in the Telugu language, and it's same for all languages. The only language that connects India is Sanskrit, because it was the only language that is imposed and introduced by the kings. Can we keep Sanskrit as an official language? No. It is a threat to non-Sanskrit family languages like Telugu, Kannada, Tamil, Malayalam. Already, people started replacing lot of original vocabulary to these languages with Sanskrit. And I'm literally like, who are these people? Where do they came from? Where do they come from? Who told them Telugu and Malayalam are this much percent Sanskrit? If this is kept as national language, then we have to say Telugu and Kannada languages are like English languages. Though they are not originated from Sanskrit, still use almost all Sanskrit vocabulary, only just like English using French lexica. It is a great threat to us. We wanna preserve. It is a great threat to us. We wanna preserve our original vocabulary. To South Indians, languages are like religion. So a question that arrive here is, will a North Hindu leave Hinduism and convert to Buddhism just because they both are connected and originated in India? Similarly, we don't want any language to be imposed on us. India is a mixture of so many beautiful cultures, languages, religions, festivals, races, etc. We shouldn't exploit them. Let all of them live here. They all own India as much as we do. Hindi is not the national language of India and never will be. Hindi belongs to India, not India belongs to Hindu. Thank you.
Good, worth appreciation. Very good, Preeti. Keep it up. Shabash, bache. So now it's Sakshi who will give her presentation offline only. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
The face should be properly seen. Okay, let's start.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today I would like to talk about the Indian economy on the eve of independence. So as we all know that India got independence after 200 years on 15th August 1947, after 200 years of getting ruled by the Britishers. So firstly, I would like to talk about why did Britishers came to India. So their motive to come to India was trading with our country, but slowly Europeans got up with an idea for more money making and more profit. So they started ruling on our country, and they set up their industries in our country. And they made many profits in our country, but they ruined our industries and policies in our country. So now I would like to talk about the agriculture. So before the colonial rule, Indian agriculture was very rich and it gained very much profit. But after the colonial rule, Indian agriculture was starved, and even cultivators could not help with anything. Even the commercialization couldn't help the cultivators to improve the condition of the profit, because now the food crops were not grown, the cash crops were grown, due to which the Indian agriculture got starved. And they introduced the land settlement system, that is also called the zamindari system. So in the zamindari system, they introduced the zamindars who used to collect the profit from the cultivators, and whatever they used to earn profit, and the cultivators used to grow the seeds and the crops by themselves, but they didn't used to get any reward and nothing. So they were starved. And then I would like to talk about the handicraft industries. So India was very famous for handicraft industries, and it even gained a lot of market in handicraft industries. But the Britishers ruined it later. So in handicraft industries, After handicraft industries were ruined, India suffered with a massive unemployment, but it came up with a new demand in Indian market, Indian consumer market, that was the import of cheap manufactured goods from Britain. And even Britishers made India the supplier of raw material, for example, cotton, jute, silk, and made the importer of cheap manufactured goods from Britain and the finished goods. So Britishers used to buy raw material from India at very cheap rate and sell India their finished goods at a very high prices. So they made India suffer a lot and they ruined the country's agriculture, handicraft industries, and many more industries. So now I would like to talk about the the railways. So that was the most important thing introduced by the Britishers. They introduced railways for their own benefit because there was no means of transport before that, and they introduced that because of migration of their goods. But that benefited India very much because before that, British Indians used to travel by their own selves by walking distance or any other means. But after the railways came up to India, so that was the only thing, means of transport that benefited India a lot. So here I would like to end my speech. So thank you.
Very good, Sakshi.
Excuse me, sir.
Your voice is not audible.
Now am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Sakshi's voice was audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Sakshi was speaking and she was not all reading. Yeah, she was speaking from her. That's very good. Bhumika, switch on your camera and start with the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bhumika Agarwal and my today topic is child marriage. So basically, what is child marriage? Child marriage is the children below the age of 18, girls below the age of 18 years and the boys below the age of 21 years. So in the British colonial times, the legal minimum age of the marriage was 14 years for girls and the 18 years for the boys. But at the time of after the independence, the in 1949 the girls age was increased to 15, and in 1995 again there was an amendment was there, 18 years age for females and the 21 years age for boys. Then there are two laws which are made for the Child Marriage Act. That was the Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929 and the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006. So, first of all, what is the Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929? The Child Marriage Restraint Act, also known as Sardar Act, and this was enacted on 1st April 1930. And in this act has defined the age of marriage to be 18 years for males and 14 years for females. And the second one was the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006. It was came effect on 1 November 2007. In this, boys, there are three provisions in this act. First, if any male above the age of 18 years forced a girl to marriage, then he will be punished under law. And if a child born under the so 1 minute. If there is child marriage born under, if a child born under the child marriage, then that child will consider as legitimate. And another provision was, and if any boy or girl marry under the child marriage or under their age, and if they want to if they don't want that marriage, then they can file the case, or that marriage will be considered as void or null. And now we will come on the what is the Poxo Act. Poxo Act was came on 2012, And in this was basically for the this was enacted for the protection of children from offenses of sexual assault, sexual harassment, and pornography, and provide for establishment of special courts for trial of such offenses. And there are what are the consequences of child marriage? There was early maternal death and violence. The International Center for Research has showed the girl marriage before the 18 years of age twice are likely to be beaten, slapped, or threatened by their husbands, and infant health or fertility outcomes. Thank you.
Good, Bhumika. Ah, Bhumika, never keep any page with you. Speak from heart. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Like when you are talking, talk to your friends, talk to your parents, you don't keep a paper with you, na? May you speak less, may you speak lesser technical. Mukul, you also pay attention. ठीक है. Need not give a lot of information. Give lesser information, no problem. But speak from heart. कुछ देख के नहीं बोलना. ठीक है, पढ़ना नहीं है. ठीक है, लेकिन अच्छी प्रेजेंटेशन थी, वेरी गुड. पिछली बार के मुकाबले में इस बार सबकी ही परफॉर्मेंस बहुत इंप्रूव हुई है. वेरी गुड. कीप इट अप. वेरी गुड. ठीक है जी. तो अब हम एक बार फिर से आपको अभी थोड़ी देर में स्टार्ट करते हैं. आज मैं कुछ आपको मैथमेटिक्स करवाना चाहूंगा. ओके, आर यू रेडी विद इट? हमने स्टार्ट किया था क्वांटिटेटिव टेक्निक्स, अब हम उसको आगे बढ़ाएंगे. पिछली बार मैंने आपको कुछ कंटेंट दिया था और कुछ क्वेश्चंस करवाए थे विद रिस्पेक्ट टू पाई चार्ट. यू रिमेंबर? ओके, सो टेक a small break of 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I will start with your next class of CLAT, Common Law Admission Test. And today I'll be covering the area of quantitative techniques, type 2 questions. Type 1, pie chart we covered. Okay. After 10 minutes, you will get one more link. Join the meeting from that link. 10 minutes break. Okay.